Welcome to From the Shed End. We're live. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go to the Linktree link in the description and hit the Linktree link. Take us to all our social accounts, our podcast episodes as well. Episode 101 is the latest episode out, recorded last Friday. But Theo, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Quite warm down here in London, and it's always nice when you get to enjoy a warm weekend, even when it's October. I know global warming and all that, but
Yeah.
from a selfish perspective, it was quite enjoyable to be out on a few runs, play football in the warm weather, and also see Chelsea pick up 3 points, which is kind of uncharted territory for us lately. So yeah, really enjoyable weekend, and looking forward to the rest of the week. How was your weekend and birthday weekend, should I say?
It was good. It was good, sort of a relaxing one. Didn't do too much, and I think that's kind of what their aim was to not do as little as possible. But like I said, I had some really good food yesterday. Watched some really good games. Obviously, the Brighton Liverpool, and then obviously, Arsenal snatching it at the death against City. So yeah, it was really good weekend. Paying for it now, obviously. Like I think I need to do some running next couple of days just to sweat all the alcohol out of my system. But no, it was good birthday. And yeah, win as well. I mean, the victory. When was the last time we scored 4 goals? I think it was probably the Southampton game, six
Yeah, I
nil
was going to bring
six
that up. It was April 2022,
two.
6 0. Yeah, two
Two,
goals, 6 0
yeah.
at St. Mary's, I think, in between the two Real Madrid legs.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, it's been a long time since we scored four or more. So, almost felt weird. Had to almost pinch myself watching that game.
Three victories, I think, a handful of goals and no injuries after a game. I think that's back to the Chelsea way that we know. But let's go back to the game Saturday. Obviously, Burnley, Turf Moor, very difficult ground, like we said, to go to get 3 points from. But um, I mean, let's start with the lineup first of all, because I think, in fact, I think you got the lineup pretty spot on from front
Yeah.
to back, every player and the positions as well. So just talk to me about the lineup. Obviously, we kind of went through it on the podcast episode, but for anyone who hasn't heard the episode and for the YouTube viewers, but it was a good lineup. It made sense. But what was your thoughts when obviously Pochettino listened to From the Shed End and made that lineup and went with it?
Yeah, he must have seen our tweet with our predicted or favoured 11s and kind of agreed with our decision. But no, I thought Pochettino got a spot on in the lineup. I think the real question mark was around Mudryk. And he did announce in his press conference, which went live, I think, while we were filming episode 101, that Mudryk was fit. But given that maybe he missed 1 or 2 days in training, I think we both felt that he maybe would have come off the bench. So it made sense for Sterling to start ahead of him alongside Broja, who had a fantastic game against Fulham, or 60 minutes against Fulham. And then have who am I missing? Cole Palmer, who again was fantastic. And then the midfield three of Gallagher, Enzo, and Caicedo kind of speaks for itself. And then the back four, again, question marks on who would play left back, whether it be Levi Colwill or Maatsen. But he stuck with Colwill at left back. So I think the lineup made sense. I think it's the first time in probably a very long time. I WhatsApped it too that we predicted the right 11 for a Chelsea game, given how kind of uncertain it's been with formations, players' fitness levels, and managers' decisions as well. But yeah, I thought lineup was good, and I'm pleased that Pochettino stuck with or kind of brought Sterling back into the team, because I think he was ill before the Fulham game.
Yeah.
But yes, for me, Sterling was the player of the match. I think he played a part in every single one of the goals almost, and it's almost proving a point now to Southgate. Like, what more does he have to do to get back into the England kind of setup? So he was fantastic, and I'm glad that we both had him in our starting 11s.
Yeah, I think it was always a tricky one with Sterling. Obviously, like you said, he hadn't really, he didn't. I mean, he was ill, I think, for the Fulham game, like you said, and it is a bit harsh on Mudryk. But I think, for obvious reasons, if he hasn't trained for majority of the week, it would have been very silly, I think, from Pochettino to then bring him throw into a game with our injury record as well. I think it would have been a really silly mistake, probably from Pochettino, to just throw Mudryk in. And to be fair, the gamble paid off for Sterling. I mean, he, like you said, man of the match performance, involved in pretty much everything on on the day. The first, I think he had a really good opportunity in the first half. He's almost uses the defender and kills the ball around. He's very unlucky not to score from that. And Trafford, I think, would have had it covered anyway, but still, really good opportunity. And even just, I mean, taking on the defenders, there was another opportunity straight after that. And again, really good save by the goalkeeper, but it was very carbon copy of what the goal eventually was in the end. Take on the defender, use a bit of space down the left side, and then just throw it into the box and almost hope for the best. I think that was his option. One of the things that I did notice about us was we had more bodies in the box, which is something that we haven't been doing recently. But Amanda Broya coming into the team, Cole Palmer, we just had that sort of opportunity for certain players to be in the box, await the ball into the box from whether it be Cole Palmer or Raheem Sterling. But it just felt like this is what Pochettino's trying to get with this team and get this team to do. And I think we've slowly seen signs of that. Talk to me about Burnley's goal. Obviously, when that goal goes in, you do sort of think, oh, here we go again. And there's that meme, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where it's here we go again.
Yeah.
It felt like that. It felt like
Did you Grand Theft Auto character walking into the sunset? Yeah. It really did feel like that. It really did.
Talk to me about the goal. Their goal was it's counter-attacking football at its best, I suppose, from Burnley's perspective. But defensively, should we have done more? I'm looking back and trying to think, we should have probably done more to avoid that goal.
Yeah, defensively, you could have closed down that player a bit quicker. You could have tried to, get closer to him. I think Cucurella maybe was the one who should have maybe tried to close him down. And from a keeper and Sanchez's perspective, it was kind of very hard to read because it wasn't direct necessarily hit with a lot of pace, but it went through Cucurella's legs, which meant Sanchez would have saw it late and could have really dived down in time to kind of get a full stretch down and kind of try to parry it out. But exactly like you said, as soon as that went in, I'm like, oh, here we go again, 1-0 down at Turf Moor, Burnley. It's going to be a tough afternoon. But very fortunately for us, we managed to get that goal right before half time. And then in the second half, it was one-way traffic for Chelsea.
Yeah. Marc Cucurella, we have to bring him up because we praised him before, in the last episode 101. Played really well right back against Fulham, but Saturday was a totally different game for him. I don't know whether it was just, I don't know. I can't really put my finger on as to why there was such a transition in his performance, but it was just he was really struggling on that right side. Not just for the goal. I don't want to blame him for the goal at all. I don't think anyone individually was at fault. I think it was just a catalogue of errors that led up to the goal. But Marc Cucurella just at times struggled, and you have to probably be understandable because it's not his natural position. He's not a right back. He's predominantly a left back or a left centre back or a left winger. But he seemed to struggle, and we're hoping obviously Malo Gusto should be back for the next game, or the Arsenal game. I think he will have served all 3 games. I think so. Would you expect to see Gusto, who's now been included, I think, in the international games as well, see him feature, come back in and maybe take that burden off Cucurella for the Arsenal game?
Yeah, credit to Cucurella. We kind of tried out that experiment for both the Burnley and the Fulham game, and it paid off. And he was fantastic at right back. But maybe in that Burnley game, and especially for their first goal, it looked like maybe he struggled a bit with kind of spatial awareness, knowing when to close down the player. Sometimes it's always, as a fullback, you kind of have your preferred foot. You like to kind of get your kind of pace on to kind of get push you in a direction, and maybe he struggled there. But yeah, like you mentioned, Gusto, the Burnley game would have been in the final game of his 3-match suspension for the red card he had against Aston Villa. And by the way, if that was a red card for Gusto, how was the Kovacic one not a red card like yesterday? So I had to bring that up.
It's crazy. No,
it really is.
The point you make, because I was watching it and I thought I could hear Liverpool fans in the background with Curtis Jones, because it reminded me of that sort of tackle. The ankle isn't, it's almost at an angle for Odegaard. He was lucky. Let's be honest. I know it's a Chelsea,
very lucky.
Chelsea, but
yeah.
He's Kovacic being Kovacic. It's so strange because I said to my mate before the game, put this bet on Jorginho, Kovacic both to pick up a yellow card.
Yeah,
we know
Jorginho
has a yellow card, and Kovacic is a bit rash. Sometimes he goes into these challenges, but to pick up a card and then to suddenly go and do the same thing or try and do the same thing to Declan Rice, it was bizarre. In my opinion, but yeah, I think we know about referees, VAR. Are they up to the job? Probably not. To be honest, I think even in our game, I think back to I can't remember who it was that guy.
Vinicius and Silva, was it that decision? Yeah.
So the Burnley game. I think Enzo picked up a card for talking to the ref. Well, arguing with the ref, but it's such a stupid new sort of rule that you can't approach the ref and you can't just have a conversation. It's a conversation. He hasn't assaulted him. I don't know what kind of words you used, whether it was, because of the words that were used in terms of that for Enzo, but I just think the refs are just struggling in England at the moment. I was watching the Man City Chelsea women's game, and Alex Greenwood got sent off for time wasting, and
Oh wow.
she literally wasn't time wasting. She was looking to see what options were available to her to take the free kick. I think she'd already picked up a yellow card, which was a yellow card already, but and I can't remember who she fouled for Chelsea, against Chelsea, but she'd fouled someone. Takes us, minutes later, she's looking around to see who can she pass the ball to. Ref blows the whistle. Second yellow, she's off. Um, I mean, credit to us, we worked in our favour because we went on to get a point at the game. We scored a very late goal against Man City Women's, but it just shows the lack of referees' understanding of the game. There's a big famous thing around Paul Merson as well, with the sort of Sky Soccer Saturday stuff, Mike Dean, and he says it right. No one's gonna die. It's not, there is the law. Just stop the game. If there's something wrong in the game, stop it.
Exactly.
Sorry, we digressed very. No, I think in terms of, I wanted to bring it back. So I wanted to talk about Cole Palmer, who we spoke about in the episodes as well previously. But he just looks like the sort of play that we need in the team. It's what we probably expected Kai Havertz to do. That sort of player, but Cole Palmer just fits right into this team, and took his penalty really well. I mean, it's a lot of pressure when you think about the score line at the time. Obviously, Raheem Sterling wins the penalty, but to see Cole Palmer step up, take it calmly as well, brilliant player.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, just the kind of maturity showed to even pick out the ball and place it on the spot to take the penalty when you've got players like Raheem Sterling on the pitch. You've got players like Enzo Fernandez. I know he missed his penalty against West Ham, but I think he's a penalty taker for Argentina. I might have taken one in the shootout at one point against the Netherlands. But yeah, just showed kind of really kind of great class and maturity, and also the way he sets up the goal for Nicholas Jackson, the fourth one, was fantastic as well. And I kind of woke up this morning and I saw a lot of tweets comparing him to some of the great Chelsea creators like Fabregas, Mata. And there is that kind of element to his game. He is also a creator. He knows where to kind of put the ball onto the player's feet, which is something we were missing for so long. So I really hope he can kind of continue to kind of unlock that kind of draw, and kind of continue to do that. Well, I'm really pleased about that performance as well. As you look at the four players who scored, or the three players who scored, given that was an own goal, but also the two players who scored against Fulham, those are players you expect us to get on a score sheet, the players that you kind of rely on for goals. And that was really a problem we've been having for so long at Chelsea Football Club. As last season, we were relying too much on Havertz and Mount, who were struggling with goals. And as a result, we couldn't score. It was often at times the defenders. I'm thinking about so many times that maybe Wesley Fofana scored a header, or Chilwell and Reece James kind of got us out of trouble. Whereas now it's actually these attacking wingers, or even kind of central attacking midfielders who are scoring goals for us. So that's really pleasing to see as well. And if they can just kind of continue to do that and add more confidence to their game, hopefully those goals will kind of come in numbers. I think they'll only increase as well when Christopher Nkunku comes. But yeah, Palmer was fantastic again. And I think I read this morning how Pochettino has been pleasantly surprised in a good way, how he's adapted so quickly, given that we only signed him on deadline day. So he wouldn't have had a proper season. He wouldn't have had time to gel with the team. So that's really good to see. And I think the kind of icing on the cake was that little screenshot that Romeo Lavia shared, kind of predicting that Cole Palmer would score. And I realized that two of them would have known each other from their Man City Academy days. So that could be a good kind of link up once Lavia is back in training and on the pitch as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he fits into the team, because yeah, I mean, he's probably a good option to have off the bench at the moment, and I think that's one of the things that it was good to see. Carney Chukwuemeka back on the bench, someone who's missed a lot of football. Lavia, I'd assume, would be the same. He's missing a lot of football at the moment, so you'd think he'd be phased into the team, to see what he can do. But it was good to see Armando Broja get another 45 minutes under his belt. I thought he played well. I thought he looked a bit not rusty, and I don't mean that I mean, he looks rusty, but I think it's for obvious reasons. He's missed a lot of football over the last 8 or 9 months. But he came into the team, he done the job, he held up the ball. He's making things happen in that box as well. And then I was so happy for Nicholas Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So happy, because I think he's had a lot of criticism from Chelsea fans. From obvious reasons. At times it's very much warranted criticism, because he hasn't performed as we wanted him to do, or he's missed sitters. I still have nightmares about the Nottingham Forest miss, but he done well. I mean, you said before about Cole Palmer with the assist, but the tight space that Jackson had to sort his feet out and then get the shot off was, for me, was brilliant. And hope that does his confidence a lot of good. It's a shame that it's come at the time when he's now gonna have a break from the Premier League, but I think it should do his confidence the world of good, and it's a good competition between Broya and Jackson to hopefully have going forward.
Definitely. I know we kind of a couple of weeks ago we spoke about bringing another 9 in January, and I kind of said let's wait and see how it kind of works out when Broja's back in, how the two kind of see each other as competition or healthy competition. And so far, I feel like it's worked out. Broja got his goal against Fulham, Jackson got his goal against Burnley, and you just got to hope that carries on kind of in after the 2-week international break. I think I saw a statistic. It was before the game against Burnley, we'd only scored 7 goals, but kind of our expected XG tally had us up at 14 goals. So we were clearly kind of creating kind of these chances. And like you said, kind of Jackson had all these golden opportunities, but just not kind of putting them to bed. Whereas in that Burnley game, we were clinical, 4 goals. And like we said, that was the first time we'd done that since April 2022. And first time I think we've won now 2 back-to-back away games since October 2022 or 2021, I think, which I think was against Southampton. No, who was it? Who would it have been against? It might be in Brentford and another team. But it just goes to show that slowly maybe we've kind of turned this corner, and hopefully now we can just kind of carry on with this momentum after the international break.
You'd like to think so, but we were speaking before about obviously for me the West Brom game always sticks out just because it was a sore one. I think you said it was Brentford as well. I think we after an international break as well. But do you know, my only thing is I don't want anyone to come back injured, because I was reading this morning a lot of Chelsea players. I think Maatsen, as I said, Malo Gusto, I think has been called up now due to injuries to other players in their national squads. But I don't want anyone coming back injured. I think if we can get everyone back, fit, which is why I'm kind of glad Raheem Sterling isn't in the squad.
True.
Because I think he's one of those players that had he have gone, just be our luck that we lose someone who's been our most creative player, I suppose, this part of the season. We can't really afford to lose anyone. I think we need to try and get as many players back, Ben Chilwell and Cuckoo, like you mentioned, Reece James, who's now back in training. I'd probably expect James possibly to be on the bench maybe against Arsenal, should his training from now until then go as it should be. But I'm still going back to the number 9. I'm still of the opinion we do need another striker. I really do. I don't know. I always said it was going to take a while for Broja to get back to his full or to his potential that we think he's got. I still don't think Nicholas Jackson is the first choice number 9 either. Lukaku's out the door, so we can't really talk about him. So I think we do need a striker. Whether we go for that striker in January or we wait till the summer and see what options are there. Obviously Oshiman's one that's been talked about. Vlahovic again. Ivan Toney, another one. So I think there's options out there. I just think, I hate to say this, but we're 9 points off top. So we're doing okay at the moment. But it's a long way away, for us to even start thinking about the summer transfers. I think, me personally, I would stick with the 2 that we've got for now. And Cuckoo can probably help in there, and like you said, he'll come in and he'll help with those attacking threats going forward. But I wouldn't want to rush bringing in a number 9 in January to then have to try and replace a number 9 in the summer again. So I think we should probably wait. What's your thoughts on the number 9? Are you willing to now, see what Jackson and Broja can do? And Cuckoo coming back, he can play false 9 as well. He can play across the front 3. Would you wait or try? Vlahovic maybe in January, or Ivan Toney?
I think we've still got a good 2 months of football to go before January, 2 months and a half even. I kind of see how it kind of plans out with Broja and Jackson. And like I said, once you add Nkuku to that kind of attacking trio, kind of play him just behind the striker or alongside the striker, I think we see a lot more creativity, goals. I'm still a bit worried about Nkuku's fitness levels. He's a player that's kind of prone to an injury. I think he might have missed half of last season with Leipzig in the Bundesliga through injury. Despite even with that, he still finished top goal scorer alongside, I think, Nico Fulkberg. So yeah, I think we should maybe remain patient until June or the summer. But that being said, if these kind of big players, like you mentioned, pop up and we're still struggling with goals, I wouldn't be surprised if Bowley kind of gets the wallet out and kind of splashes out some more cash. But I think if we do splash out the cash, we might need to look to sell this time. And I think the 2 players that we mentioned on episode 101 would be Chalobah, Maatsen, those type of players, possibly even a loan for someone like I was trying to think, Madueke or something like that, who's kind of hasn't featured as much, and it's a possibility he could go out and learn. I know there's that picture of him shaking Pochettino's hand, but it almost felt like that's the PR stunt, like you called it exactly. But yeah, he hasn't really featured as much since his, I think the Bournemouth game. So yeah, I think there'll be not only some potential kind of incoming in January, but there'll be a few outgoings as well.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, like I said, I don't want to rush out and buy number nine to then have to replace them in the summer. I think it'd be silly for us to do that. Final question, I suppose. Obviously, we're almost in the top half of the table. Thanks to McTominay, we're sitting in 11th place at the moment with United's last minute winners on Saturday. But step in the right direction, not 100%. But I still feel, and this is my own personal view, but I still think we just need to make sure our expectations are correct. I think going forward for this season and not get too far ahead of ourselves. I joked about being 9 points off the top. That's only 3 games, but we are stepping in the right direction. We've got some massive fixtures coming up though after the international break. The first one being against Arsenal. How confident going into that game off the back of the last 3, providing that we don't pick up any injuries in the international period, but going into that game now, especially with Arsenal, how many points can we realistically pick up from now until I think it's maybe the middle of December? Are we talking about a place where we should be confident to pick up at least 6 or 9, maybe even 12 points out of those games, or is it a case of let's just take a game as it comes?
Yeah, I mean, like you called it a month or 2 ago, this is going to be the period that's going to be the real test when we play the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Brighton, Newcastle, these type of teams. Because realistically, all those fixtures we've had since the start of the season, they were winnable games, and we haven't won the majority of them. We lost to Villa at home. We drew with Bournemouth. We lost to Forest. That should have been 9 points. That really should have been 9 points, and we kind of didn't pick up those 9 points. We could have been closer to the Tottenham, Arsenal, City, those type of teams, but we were not. But now we've kind of made the work harder for ourselves, and it's these type of games now that we're looking at, kind of in that November, October period, that we're going to have to pick up the points. I think Arsenal will be the real test. It'll be a huge test. We saw how good they were defensively against City yesterday. So yeah, that's going to be a real challenge. But I think the other games, you look at Brighton, they've struggled a bit lately. There's no excuse why we should be beating teams like Brighton, Newcastle as well. They proved that against I think was it not Villa. They played West Ham.
Yeah.
They can drop points as well. So yeah, these are type of games I think we should be winning, and with a fully fit squad, I think we can beat anyone. I genuinely feel like that way. When we have Reece James back to his full fitness, if he can stay fit, we have all our midfield options in Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, Gallagher, and the big one is Nkuku, I think, who will be a huge kind of addition to this team. Then I think we might really stand a chance, and I think maybe Badiashile coming back as well. We could potentially play a back 3 as well with Colwill, Silva, Badiashile, and maybe shift Cucurella or Reece James or Gusto as the wing backs. That's also an option. So yeah, I think it's going to be a kind of a crunch part of the season, but I'm also looking more forward to it than I was maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to we've got to win our home games. Our home games are crucial, and that goes with any season. Doesn't matter whether you're pushing for the league or you're fighting relegation. Your home games are the ones that you have to prioritize and win. I think we play City at home first, so I think that's a game for us personally. For me, we have to win.
Brentford home as well. That's a must win.
Brentford home, Arsenal home. So I mean, I look at this. Obviously, for me, Old Trafford. I think we played United on the 6th of December. 3 days later, we play Everton at Goodison Park. 2 tough grounds to go to. So I think we win our home games, we should be fine. And
a lot of the teams we listed, they've got midweek fixtures. The Brightons, the Newcastles. We don't have that, maybe except for the Blackburn Carabao Cup game. I think on Wednesday, the 1st of November. That's it. If we qualify to the next round, we'll see more. Maybe another, I think, a quarterfinal, then a semi-final. But other than that, we don't have any midweek fixtures. So the likes of Brighton, no excuses. They'll be coming back from these tough away games in Greece, Marseille, whereas we kind of will have the benefit of just having our squad rested for an extra couple of days. So that should be on our side, hopefully.
No pressure, Pochettino and Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the 3 points. Really good performance. Well, very good second half. First half was very poor, in my opinion. I thought we allowed Burnley to dictate the game a lot more than they should have. But relatively good second half performance, 4 goals, like you said, the first time since Southampton. Um, yeah, it's just a shame the international breaks come, but it is what it is. We can't change that. Although we should play all these kind of games in the summer, in my opinion. But the moment everyone has been waiting for, the moment. I'm actually excited to do this.
I'm
I'm truly
excited.
excited to do this.
Yeah.
I think what I'll do first, I'm going to announce this week's competition, which I have in my hands, which I'm very jealous of because I actually want this myself. As I said before we came on, there's actually some decent players on here as well. So this week's competition, the prize is this one. If you can see this, hopefully you can. So there we go. So this is the official 2024 top goal scorers, official Chelsea desktop calendar for next year, 2024. This is this week's prize. This is what's on offer. Um, I think we should do what we've done to keep it the same. I think we should keep the rules the same. I think it's a fair shout. So if anyone who hasn't been watching or been listening, all the information is on our Instagram account in terms of the rules, what you need to do to enter. Very briefly, if you go onto our Instagram account, you can tag two, or you must tag 2 people in the post when it's available, which will be later on today. I think we said an additional entry if you share the competition post as well on our socials, on your socials as well. And you'll be entered into the draw. The draw will take place every Monday. You have up until 12 p.m. Monday. So this is a competition for every week of October. So if you just make sure you head over to our Instagram account, you can see at the bottom of the screen, or just hit the Linktree link, and that will take you over there. And this week's prize was a men's. Men's, is it unisex men's? I'm not sure.
I think it might be men's size medium. I've got it downstairs, actually, still in the packaging and wrapper. I should have brought it up for the video, but it's kind of a really cool looking kind of graphic tee with the Chelsea lion on it. I'm pretty sure it would fit a woman as well. And I think size M is usually the kind of global size a lot of people wear. It's really cool as well. Almost like I was tempted to get one for myself after I saw it. Really nice kind of shade of blue. And I'm sure you'd have seen all the Instagram kind of pictures of it. So yeah, I'm really excited to announce this winner. And I was, like you mentioned, for the calendar one, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to be in a chance of being considered in the entry list. And I'm just curious, why don't you show the goal scorer for October and March? Maybe those are our 2 birthday months.
So October. I looked this morning. I've actually got a really decent one. I've got Kenny Dixon. So I don't
Solid.
want to share it on screen because I want it to be a surprise for whoever gets this. But yeah, Kerry Dixon, sorry. It is October, and March is George Hillsden. So going back a couple of years,
Yeah.
that's even before my time as well. So, but there's some good players. Some that you may not know, some that you may know. Definitely a prize that you want. If you're a Chelsea fan, you will want this on your desk at work, or in your home office, wherever. It doesn't have to be in work. But let's get on to this week's one. So this is for the t-shirt, the men's graphic t-shirts, size medium, as Theo said. Now I've got the prize wheel here, so everyone who entered will be included here. I'm going to give the names a little bit of a shuffle, just so no one can say it's been rigged. So I'll give it a good couple of shuffles. I'm going to spin the wheel. So whoever wins this will be contacted by the Shed End from the Shed End Instagram account. Is everyone ready? Let's go. I feel like I'm Bruce Forsyth. It's amazing.
On a game show.
Lazar 86, unfortunate. But the one that I didn't want to win because I didn't know how to pronounce it, J Wicku. I'm just going to say J Wicku has won the competition, won the men's t-shirts. So you'll hear from us. We'll send a DM to you via Instagram. Congratulations as well for winning. So that's all you've got to do to win. You don't have to do much. Just tag 2 people. Share the post if you want an additional. I think, if I'm honest, I think this competition winner actually did that. They shared it and got 2 entries. So it shows that the additional entry actually does work. So congratulations. We'll hear from us within the next couple of hours or so, hopefully. And then we'll get your details where we can send the prize to. And yeah, that's all you got to do to enter.
Congratulations. Yeah, very exciting. Looking forward to doing the next one next Monday.
I know, yeah. think we're gonna have to get all these prizes. We're gonna end up having to buy our own versions of things. There actually are. I mean, the next one, I'm definitely gonna buy the next one for next Monday. I definitely want one of them, and I should have had one already. To be fair, just for nostalgic reasons. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So, Theo, as always, thank you very much. Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
We won 3 points. We can go into the international break happy, slightly, not too happy. We're still bottom half of the table. We're propping it up, but yeah, we'll be back. I think we'll have a good episode. I think in the middle of the week, which I'll talk to you offline about. We've got a couple, obviously, with the international break, but there's a few that we've talked about offline that we can talk about. So make sure you listen for episode 102. Watch out for that. That'll be a decent one. And like we said, competition post will be out very soon on our Instagram account and Twitter as well for this week's prize. So make sure you head over there to check that out as well. But we'll be back very soon from the shed end. Thank you very much for watching and have the rest of your Monday. Hope it's really good. And there's no football on tonight, actually, is there?
I don't think so.
There
No.
is. It's Burton. Burton's on. So anyone who likes football, Burton is on tonight. If you're really craving football, head over 8 o'clock, Burton Albion. Thanks for watching.